Hey, what's up, cats and kittens? And shout out to all my Cerebralites. It's me, the Cerebral Diva. It is Wednesday, March 22nd, 2017, and I'm back with another video. And in today's video, we're going to discuss cultural appropriation. And I kind of want to talk about not just cultural appropriation, but what is cultural appropriation, and when is it cultural appropriation, and when is it Black hypersensitivity? Being a person of color, I feel like I can speak from the perspective of a person of color. So anyhow, let's dive right in. Tory Burch, which is sort of a mid to high end brand, typically worn, frankly, by I don't necessarily want to make it a brand specifically worn, but by anyone. But you typically see it worn by well-to-do sort of suburban moms, be it black, white, or whatever. Anyhow, Tory Burch just created a spring 2017 campaign in which they used the song JuJu on that beat. Now, for those of you not familiar with JuJu on that beat, in the words of Michael Jackson, you are not alone. I am here with you. Now, I do know the song, but other than JuJu on that beat, I don't know anything other than I hate the song. I'm so sick of that particular genre or type of song. When they call it cultural appropriation, I'm not sure whose culture they're referring to, because I definitely don't see JuJu on a beat being part of my personal culture as a person of color. But however, far be it from me to tell another person how to identify with something culturally. But for me personally, I'm not JuJuing on anything or a beat in particular. So anyhow, Tory Burch used the song in this campaign. Not only did they use the song JuJu on the beat in the campaign, which is a song that is specifically geared towards a very specific demographic, which is young black kids. And people are upset about it. And when I hear stories like this, I scratch my head. And I scratch my head because I think in 2017, is Tory Burch using JuJu on that beat really a cause for angst, a cause for an uprising, a cause for people being upset? Because I remember I don't even know, a few months or a few years ago, there was a really sort of a big stink about Khloe Kardashian. She was getting Bantu knots, I believe, and boxer braids, and a lot of people were really offended by it, and it started as cultural appropriation. And maybe I'm just disconnected, I don't know. But a hairstyle to me is really just a hairstyle. I'm not offended by a person who gets Bantu knots, because if I choose to get hair extensions, I don't want people saying that white people or in particular Indian people saying that I'm culturally appropriating based on the style of my hair, because I'm very connected to my culture. That is simply a style. It has absolutely nothing that's on my head. It's not in my head. It's not influencing the way I believe people perceive me, the way I perceive others, and the way that I treat people or move about the world. So I think a personal style is personal style, and I don't think that, the way someone chooses to do their hair, the music that they listen to, because let's be honest, the world that we live in is becoming smaller and smaller and smaller. Now the interesting thing is that the smaller we become, meaning that we're not so disconnected thanks to the internet. So we're aware of things that are happening in Korea, North Korea, South Korea. We're aware of things that are happening in India. We're aware of things, even just today in the UK, there was a shooting at Parliament. And things that, decades ago, we wouldn't have been, we probably would have known that this was going on, but it wouldn't have been so fast. We wouldn't have had so much access to information the way that we do. So our world is becoming smaller and smaller and smaller. And as that world becomes smaller, and as we become connected to other things, we find out things that we may be influenced by. Sometimes simply through osmosis, you may see something or hear something or you're around something, and it's not even registering in your consciousness, but in your subconsciousness, there is a seed being planted that you don't even recognize it's being planted. So if you're a young white kid, a middle-aged white kid, a middle-aged I'm sorry, you can't be middle-aged and a kid, a middle-aged person, white, black, whatever, hip-hop is a very prevalent culture in the United States. And it's hard to be here and to not be influenced by that. So why is Tory Burch necessarily being criticized? But as far as I'm aware of, in order for Tory Burch to use this particular song in a commercial, she would have to get licensing through the people who wrote and produced that particular song. So in order for her to be culturally appropriating something, she had to, the people who created it had to be on board with it. So if we're gonna criticize Tory Burch, let's also criticize the people who accepted the check for JuJu on that beat, because by virtue of accepting money, they're essentially selling out as well. So you can't point the finger at Tory Burch for using a popular song to promote her brand because she wants to get sales. That's what smart business people do. And so I'm not bothered by this particular song. I frankly hate the song. I feel like that particular type of music is like the dumbing down of America, the dumbing down of the African American culture, and to say that that particular song represents the African American culture as a monolith. I think it actually that does more of a disservice to the African American culture and the African American experience than Tory Burch using it in the commercial. You know, having this song used in a commercial is going to garner more notoriety for this group. You know, they may be a one-hit wonder. You know, who knows if they'll ever have another hit song, but they're taking that 15 minutes of success, parlaying it into 17 minutes. They've added 2 more minutes onto their success. And not only have they added 2 more minutes onto their success, they've also, I'm sure, added thousands of dollars to their account. And so to me, Tory Burch could have chosen a million songs to use in this particular campaign. And she chose a song by young African American kids and gave them a platform by which they would have never had, and exposed them to a whole new genre of fans potentially. And so how that's cultural appropriation, I don't know. But as a person of color, I'm frankly not that offended by it. You know, there are way too many things. I'm culturally offended when I see black people wait in line and sleep outside in line for Jordan tennis shoes but not vote. That's what offends me. That's what I feel is cultural appropriation. I feel like we have so many other things that we need to focus on as a black community, that Tory Burch using a song in a campaign that probably because, and here's also the other thing, by making this song into an issue, you are essentially making this probably the most successful Tory Burch campaign ever, because this is certainly the first time that I've ever talked about a Tory Burch campaign. And while it's not necessarily that people are talking about it in a good way, you know, it's going to get more media attention and cause people to Google Tory Burch, cause people to look and search out the products. And you're basically helping to promote the products of something that you have an issue with. So it just doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, let Tory Burch do Tory Burch. Let the young guys who made JuJu on that beat, the Hilfiger guy, whatever his name is, even that, his rap name is Hilfiger. Now, should Tommy Hilfiger be saying that's cultural appropriation? I don't know. And you know what? I really don't care, because at the end of the day, Donald Trump is trying to repeal and replace Obamacare. You know, Donald Trump is signing executive orders that are going to have a detrimental effect over many of our overall qualities of life. And so to be raising a fuss about JuJu on that beat in this day and age, it seems superfluous. I'm sorry. And a lot of people may disagree with what I have to say, and that's fine. You're entitled to feel the way that you feel. I'm just really not that bothered by it. I'm not bothered by a white girl who wears braids or bantu knots. I'm more so bothered by black men who don't date black women in a lot of cases because, they don't believe that black women are attractive in lots of cases. That to me is cultural appropriation. That to me is of a greater concern. I don't care about a stupid song called JuJu on that beat. That song is going to come and go. Spring is going to come and go. Tory Burch is going to make her money. These young men are going to make their money. Their lives go on. We cannot keep getting upset and bent out of shape about the wrong things, And I'm sorry, at the end of the day, JuJu on that beat just really doesn't deserve that much time or attention, even though I just gave it 11 minutes. So, with that being said, you guys, as always in closing, remember to live better, love harder, and think smarter. It's me, the Cerebral Diva, and I shall talk to you guys later.